Okay guys, let's just get right into this because we have a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna start with math. I'm gonna try to kind of show you guys the stuff in the different like subject categories as best as I can, but if I forget something, I may just have to throw it in there. And I probably will forget something that we have gotten so far, but I will be doing a like homeschool house tour / all of my resources tour. So if I forget something in this video, I will show you guys that in a future video. And if you hear a little baby noise, that is because my toddler is eating. Oh, you're saying hey? That's my toddler eating his lunch. So anyway, let's start with math. So we are going to be doing Math UC again as our main curriculum for math. We did this in our first semester of homeschooling. We did Gamma, and if you want to see what I think about this curriculum, then watch my last homeschooling video. It was, I was talking about all the curriculum that we will be using this year, but I reviewed all of the curriculum we used last year and showed it to you guys. So anyway, we're going to be doing single and multiple digit division. This Math UC is just so nice because the pages are just clear. There's no like cartoon looking characters on it. It's just very simple, which I like because it's less distracting for little boys. And they have tons and tons of like worksheets for each lesson. So you watch a video, which that's one thing I don't have here is the DVDs. They're just in a drawer somewhere. Package. So we got the worksheets, which are very nice, and the more practice you have with math, the better. So that's one thing I love about this. Then we also have the teacher's manual, which I'm going to try to kind of use this year to let my son read through it if he's confused on something, and maybe that will kind of teach him to learn on his own a little bit, but I will be helping him and teaching him a lot. So that is what that looks like. And the answer key is in the back, which is very good. And then something else that I love about Math UC is the tests. They have tests for each week, like each lesson that you go over, there's a test. But then there are also like unit tests and a final test. So there's the final test, and before that there's a unit test. So they have a unit test like every so often, and then they have a test every week. That just really helps me let me know where my son is, how he's doing. He usually does really well on the test though, because he has done a ton of the worksheets, and I'm able to tell from there if he's even ready to take the test. But then once he takes the test, that kind of confirms to me that he learned what I thought he was learning. And then when he gets the unit test, that confirms to me that he's retaining the information, that he remembers things from previous weeks and so on. So that's our main curriculum. Then I got this kind of like extra curriculum. I really wanted to try this out. It's the Math Lessons for a Living Education. I got this off of masterbooks.com, and this just looked really interesting to me because this is level 4. It is a Charlotte Mason type of curriculum. And every single lesson starts with a story, which I think is really cool because bringing math to life can be difficult when you're teaching it, but there is just so much math in real life, obviously. So I think it's really important to help the kids see that and understand that what they're learning has purpose. And I really like the Charlotte Mason style, or the philosophy of learning. That's something I really love. Charlotte Mason and Waldorf. Those are two things that I will talk about that are my favorite kind of philosophies for learning. But you have the story at the beginning, and then you have these exercises. And now what I like about this is while there is some kind of, not cartoonish, but just like pretty pictures throughout this book, the pictures actually can be really beautiful. Some of them are just like the kids, but others are some really nice pictures. So I really like that. It kind of reminds me of The Good and the Beautiful, which I'm using for a lot of things this year and will be showing you guys. But I really like that. But then after you get done with the story, there is not really any pictures. It's very clean and simple, and so I really like that. Now, what we're gonna be doing with this, and why we have two curriculum, one, this was only like 30 bucks, which was really nice. So it's affordable in a way that you can have it as like an add-on and kind of try it out without feeling guilty about spending too much money on it. But what I also like about this is that they do a lot of review. They do more review than Matthew C is doing. Matthew C I think has like 1 week of review and then it jumps into the division, which Matthew C is a mastery program. So we just mostly focused on multiplication and we didn't start division at all last year. Whereas this is not a mastery program, so level 3 actually has some division in it. But we will be able to use this because how we're gonna do it is we're gonna start with this book. We're not gonna touch Matthew C. We're still working on our multiplication tables. I wanna make sure my son has that down. And then we are going to, while we're working on his multiplication tables, we're gonna go through the review in this book. So it starts off with like some addition and subtraction review, which, you know, he has that down obviously, but it is just good to review things, especially in math. And then it goes on to like some rounding and kind of practicing with that, which I really, really like. Then it reviews multiplication, which I think is good because we're still kind of working on, he can multiply, he can find the answer for everything, but he doesn't have it quite just like memorized, just right off the bat knows the answer. So we're still working on that. So I like that it has, we can kind of focus on multiplication for a little bit. And then it goes into division. Now it assumes he's already had some division from level 3. So what we will do at that point is we will stop this book, we will start Matthew C, do a little division in that, and then I will just start to use this book as like supplement when we need a change, when we want to read like a interesting story, just to kind of keep math interesting and not so like mundane and the same thing every single day, week after week. That's how it felt when last year we just did Matthew C for math and that was it. I felt like he learned a ton and that's why we're sticking with it, but I felt like it was kind of killing his love for math. And so I'm trying to keep that alive. So now this is all of like the supplemental stuff that I have that I'm going to share with you guys. So that was all the curriculum. This is like extra stuff. So these are a couple books for myself. This is a Waldorf inspired book. It's math lessons for elementary grades. And this just really looked interesting to me. I'm always trying to learn new things about homeschooling and about teaching. And I really like the Waldorf philosophy. So I'm trying to learn a little bit more about it through books. But this looked really cool and it probably has some extra things that I can teach him that aren't in his other curriculum. So I really like that. Most of the extra stuff is from Amazon and I will have everything linked down below for you guys. Another kind of Waldorf type book is this, which I am so excited about. This is Active Arithmetic, so exciting, movement and mathematics, teaching in the lower grades of a Waldorf school. So this is so cool. It talks about like standing in front of each other and throwing something at each other while you're practicing your math facts. And I don't know, I haven't read it yet, but it looks so interesting. And the active side of your brain is related to the math side of your brain, and especially for boys. Boys really need to be doing things and active. So I think that this is going to be a great resource for me for things that we can do. And I figure we will do this like in the mornings, maybe right before we start math, just to get loose. And I think some of it you need like other kids. So we may invite other homeschoolers to do things with us like, ooh, this is fun. I did this as a kid. What is it called? Hopscotch? Not hopscotch. Double Dutch, whatever. Super fun. So I think that's so cool that you can relate that to math. Obviously you can relate that to physics and all kinds of things. So I'm really excited to read this book. I just got a couple of playing cards for different math games like Multiplication War, things like that. I got this gridded paper for division. I saw another homeschool mom using this. I thought it was so smart because a lot of the time Carter's handwriting is kind of like will harm him in math. When a lot of numbers get involved, he will kind of write something too small or off to the side or whatever, and then he misses it and doesn't add it together in the end. So teaching him to stay really neat and clean with his math problems is important, and so I thought this would be a good tool for us. now we're getting into the books, which is like just the fun books, which is the fun part to me, my favorite part. Henry, oh, you dancing and singing? Good job, buddy. I do have some stuff for my toddler that you may hear in the background as well. No, Henry, don't touch it. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. But I have a read aloud for every single like subject that we are learning this year. So this is the one for math. It's called Champions of Mathematics, and it's about the great minds of the past when it comes to math, learning about them. So let's see, it says, learn how Pythagoras investigated mathematics through his affinity for music, marvel at the new math Leonardo Fibonacci learned from the Moors in North Africa. Sorry if I butchered his name. So super fun and interesting. This is something that he would struggle to read on his own and not really like comprehend it. But when I read it to him and we can talk about it, he can comprehend much higher reading levels and higher, deeper schools of thought. And we have some really great discussions with our read alouds. Read aloud is a huge thing in our family. So I'm excited to read that. Now, let's get into the books. So excited. Oh my gosh, this video is already so long. I may have to put this, make this into multiple parts. I don't know. Okay, so we got a lot of these books. Hilarious, 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 hilarious. So it's called Circumference. Cracks me up. Okay, I'm a nerd. And All the King's Tens. So this one is about counting by tens, which Carter's been counting by tens for a very long time now. He's going into 4th grade, but it just looks like a cute, fun book that has to do with math. I want to bring math alive and make it exciting. So this one just looked cute, but there's a lot in this series. So I will show you a few more that we got, but love that. We also got The Multiplying Menace, The Revenge of Rumpelstiltskin. This looks cool because it just looks like fun and interesting and cute, but then also has to do with multiplication. And at the beginning of our homeschool year, we're gonna be really hitting multiplication hard for a few more weeks before we move on to division. So this will be just a fun thing to kind of chill from math for a minute, but still kind of be talking about math by reading this book. And it has really nice pictures as well. And then once we do move on into division, we will read The Multiplying Menace Divides. Now Carter is so excited about all of these books. He picked out his favorites. He almost picked like every single one as a favorite. And this I think is just gonna be really fun for us. And it reaches a different part of your brain when you're reading a story. Stories are so impactful to your brain and your psyche, so very exciting. Okay, Circumference and the Sword in the Cone, another one of the Circumference series. And this one looks really cool and interesting. And this is probably a little bit more advanced for him. I don't know, we'll see. I might look through this and decide when we read this one, but definitely like different shapes and stuff. Definitely looks interesting. And it's about battling, which is something that my son loves. He loves battling stuff. So this is right up his alley. Circumference and the Roundabout Battle. I think this one is about estimating. So they're estimating like probably how many soldiers or whatever they need. So this one is a battle, so he'll love that, but then also learn a little bit about estimating, which he knows how to estimate, but of course we still continue to learn about that further. Rabbits, rabbits everywhere. Okay, so I got a lot of math books, you guys, and not all of these will have to do with our curriculum this year or this semester, but I know that they will fit into something in the future, and that just reading about math for fun, even just like before bed or whatever, is good. So rabbits, rabbits everywhere. This one just looked funny. It's about like a wizard. I think something about like a wizard who he is like wronged, and so then all of a sudden he starts like adding up all these rabbits. But like, look at that little graph. How cool is that in a story? So interesting. Then we got High Noon, a math adventure. This one just looks cute because it's about, you know, cowboys fighting, and there's this weird hair thing going on. I don't even know what that means, but excited to read that. Oh, thank you, Henry. Then we have Beanstalk, the Measure of a Giant. I figure we will add this one in when we're talking about measuring, so that will be fun. But this one looks like a cute kind of twist on a classic story. A very improbable story. This looks cool, talking about, sorry, that was Henry, talking about probability. Like, how fun is that to talk about probability in real life? And he's got like the probability of a cat being on your head. I don't know. Looks really funny. Then we have Toads and Tessellations. This one, it just looks cute and interesting. Great pictures in all of these. The Boy Who Loved Math. Very excited about this. The Improbable Life of Paul Erdos. Did I say that wrong? Probably. I really love books on like, kind of like biographies. So this one looks really interesting and cute. So I'm excited to read this, and just like a fun twist. Henry, you're being too loud, buddy. Stop. A fun twist on learning about someone's life through a picture book. How cool is that? Inch by Inch. This one is just really pretty. And it talks about measuring through this little caterpillar. And I love like the white space in the very just like simple pictures. I think that this book is just beautiful. Very beautiful. This one we're excited to read, A Place for Zero. Carter thought this was really funny. Apparently Zero has like a complex because he has nothing to add to the equation. So in this story you learn what Zero actually does have to add to things, which I think is really cool, and this book will be really fun to read. Great Estimations. I thought this looked super cool. It teaches you how to estimate things. So like, for example, it teaches you like that this like chunk has about 10, and so then you kind of estimate the rest of the chunks as about a few clumps of 10, and then you add it up and you're like, okay, there's approximately 100 bunnies here. So I think that that is just so cool, that not only are there fun pictures for him to try to estimate with, but then it has like strategies in it on how to estimate. So he was really interested in this. All About Time, a first look at time and clocks. He was also really interested in this. This is just talking all about time, how it got started, all about clocks. Very interesting and fun. So this is not really anything to do with our unit studies, but it's just kind of a fun thing to read about. On a Beam of Light, a story of Albert Einstein. We have one other book, like a chapter book on Albert Einstein. So this is a picture book on his life, which will be just, you know, a fun and different way, look at that, of looking at things, of learning about the geniuses of the past. I just think that that is so important. And these pictures are really cool. Like, look at that. Really cool pictures. I'm really excited to read this story with Carter. The History of Counting. This is just that. Of course, beautiful cover. Love the cover. We always display our books on our little library wall. So this is just talking about the history of counting, which is really cool. And it has some beautiful, beautiful pictures. It goes into the future. Okay, now I'm going to move into our language arts curriculum, which I am very excited about. We got the Good and the Beautiful curriculum. So I will show you the curriculum that we bought and then the extra add-ons as well. So the Good and the Beautiful comes with, oh, this is actually something we bought extra. So this doesn't come in the language arts. What comes in the language arts is a reader. We got level 2. He's reading, like they had an assessment online and he was reading perfectly well on level 2, but the grammar and the spelling he really struggled with on that assessment. So we decided to just stick with level 2, even though we probably could have pushed to level 3, just to give him a really solid foundation in language arts, because that's so important. But I love this. Isn't this just beautiful, you guys? These pictures, they're all really wholesome stories. And what it does is, I'm sure you've probably seen the Good and the Beautiful stuff on YouTube, but it starts off a little bit simpler. And then as you get towards the end, the reading is at a higher level, which I have been kind of struggling to find books that really suit his level. So I'm very excited to have this reader at my disposal because it will just go along with him at the level he is at and then kind of start to push him further to a higher level. So I think that is amazing. And I hear a lot of kids, a lot of the reviews I've watched online, Henry, no, you want to play with the ball? Go get it, go get it. A lot of the reviews I've watched online said that their kids love this, that they really enjoy the stories in this reader. So very excited about that. Then it comes with these phonics cards. I did get the printed off version and I'm really glad I did. I just don't have the time to print it all off myself. Plus it would probably cost a lot of money because there's very high quality pictures here. So these are the phonics cards, which they're nice and sturdy. I wouldn't think you would need to laminate these or anything. They seem to be just really nice and sturdy. And I like having these phonics cards. I was reading like how to get started with this program and I really liked what they said about the phonics cards, how to use them. And it will just give me a really good idea of where he's at with that. Then it comes with the course book and the course companion. So the course book for level 2 looks like this. It says to spend, I think, a total, including like using the reader and everything, of about 70 to 80 minutes a day on this. But it's just pick up and go, and it comes to the course book. But it has these beautiful, beautiful pictures in it, which is just something that is so nice. It combines everything, grammar, spelling, all of that stuff. We do have IEW, and I'm going to an IEW workshop to learn about how to teach it, so we will probably still use that a little bit, but for the most part, that will just kind of be a supplement. For the most part, we are going to be using the Good and the Beautiful. I love all of the strategies they have. Oh, look at that beautiful picture. For spelling, and in the course companion right here, you have like your lists and your spelling words, and it has I think poetry in here, but there's like kind of a system that you go with to make sure that they know how to spell words. Like reviewed, you check off reviewed, you check off mastered. Something I love about this program too is it has a little box for you to check things off when you're done. If you're like me, who loves to scratch things off a list or check things off, that's the most satisfying thing in the world. So very excited about this for our main curriculum. Then Carter is an excellent writer. He enjoys writing. It's something that is just comes more naturally to him, coming up with the story. The whole, adding periods and punctuation and stuff, that's where we have to, really hunker down on. But just like coming up with the story, he has no problem at all, really enjoys it. So I thought that this would be a fun thing to get. And it talks about writing about good and beautiful things, which I really love. So it talks about things that aren't good and beautiful, like a girl rolls her eyes at her mother, things like that, that tend to be in a lot of societies, like chapter books that are geared towards kids my son's age. So this is so cool. So it, let's see, it gives you an example of a to be verb and an active verb. So her eyes are beautiful, or you could say her eyes shimmer with light as she smiles. So I think that this is just really going to help him take his writing to the next level. Fruit and the senses, talking about the senses. I actually have an adult chapter book about, because I enjoy writing as well, about the senses. So I love that they talk about that in here. But it's a really pretty notebook, and it's talking about sounds and describe the scene. I love that. Just fun, like, kind of extra activities that he can do. And of course, the Good and the Beautiful always has beautiful pictures, but just tons and tons of cool writing exercises. Emotions, jumpstart beginnings, story starters, possible main characters. Like, how awesome is this book? I was kind of on the fence about buying this, and once I got it, I was like, yes, this is what I needed for him to help get his writing, his creative writing, to the next level. Okay, now for the extras. So we'll start with the books that you can order through the Good and the Beautiful. They have recommended read alouds and just like books that your kid can read on their own, which I love that because it goes along with his reading level, which is something that I struggle with. I always want him to be reading, but sometimes I buy him books that are above his reading level and it frustrates him. And so then I get books that are, you know, less difficult to read, but then I think, is this too easy for him? So I love that they have some suggestions for that, and that you can just buy it through The Good and the Beautiful. They give you a little bit of a deal when you do that. So it makes it a lot easier for me to, The Good and the Beautiful does for me with these subjects what I do on my own with the math and the science subjects. For English and history, they kind of did the work of finding the extra books for me, which I really like. So it comes with Sarah, Plain and Tall. When we first got this, I was so excited. I sat down and read the back of each one of these chapter books, and they just sound so interesting. They go along with what you're learning in English, but they have like a wholesome moral of the story thing, which I like. That's something that The Good and the Beautiful is really big on, reading good literature and wholesome literature. Having your kids learn that, that's something that Charlotte Mason is really big on, so love that. Lumber Camp Library, I love that they talk about books and libraries and reading like it's a wonderful positive thing that it is. The Beatenest Boy, this one, just like the cover just looks cool, so this one looked interesting. And then even a reader. We have not used these books in a long time, and I did not realize, I'm sure this is like at the beginning of level 2 that you're reading this, but this does seem kind of close to his level in some ways, below it, but in some ways, and it has beautiful pictures as well, and I thought, man, maybe I need to look into these. Maybe there are some even higher levels than this that I could get for him. It was just a good reminder of a resource that I could find. So love this, love all of these books that it came with. One game we got for English is Pairs and Pairs, and these are so pretty. I love, first of all, the pear and just the really nice packaging of it. I just love the quality of it. Listen to that. Oh, I just love the way it sounds. And then it has these really pretty letters. So we can play the actual game, or we can use these, which we will, for spelling as just a fun way to practice spelling words, to kind of change it up. It will be, instead of just writing spelling words over and over again constantly, which copy work is obviously really good, but I feel like this is another way. It's like very textile for learning. So I was really excited to get these. Then the other game I got was Quiddler. Now this is similar to Scrabble, but in card form for the fun of words. Love that. So excited to play that. We're going to be doing lots of games, lots of field trips, lots of reading of just good literature and good books. Last semester I depended too highly on our curriculum and it was just boring. And I just really started to move towards the Waldorf and the Charlotte Mason style of learning, and I'm really excited about it. This is just a resource for me. It's the only grammar book you'll ever need. You guys, I struggle with grammar. I was always really strong in English and math, but grammar was something I was not very strong in from a young age. And I feel like it's because, sort of like some people have this problem with math, it's very foundational. If you get behind, you start to just be like, where, I don't even know what's happening. So I don't want that to happen to my son. So I'm going to workshops and things to learn how to be a better teacher for him. But I also thought it would be really great. I was reading through this book. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be highlighting the crap out of this thing. I am just so excited about it. It is just, I really believe this is the only grammar book I'll ever need. There are just so many things that I can read through and learn and then help him with. So I'm really excited for that. Then I got Spelling by Hand. This is another Waldorf kind of school inspired book, teaching spelling in a Waldorf school. So I really love this. It talks about, I started to kind of read just a few pages in this. It talks about in the beginning how important spelling is for a child for their writing, because if you think about it, when you go to sit down to write a story, if you don't know how to spell certain words, that's really going to slow you down in your writing. So they just talk about how important spelling can be, and I just really, really agree with that. So they talk about different kind of ways to teach spelling, and then they have some really good spelling lists at the back and common errors like there, and there. I see a lot of people, adults, like on Facebook and stuff, that mess that up. It's pretty sad, but it's true. So I'm really excited to use this as a teaching resource. Okay, let's move on to history. For history, we are also using The Good and the Beautiful for our main curriculum, which I love because, like I said, they do everything for me. So with English, they didn't have any really like fun games. They really should. I would suggest that to The Good and the Beautiful, to add games to all of their curriculum. But they do have a game for history, which I think is so cool. It's called The Keys of History. Sorry, my little toddler singing in the background, if you hear that. So this is so cool. My son loves board games and he will be down for learning. My main goal for him is to teach him a love for learning. So if he's like playing a game, he's down for learning. So it has this little board and the little pieces and some dice, and then it comes with these amazingly beautiful cards. So you can play it cooperative style or competitive style, which I like because sometimes we want to just cooperate as a family and sometimes we want to, you know, destroy each other, like how Monopoly runs families. Anyway, so look at these beautiful cards. It has the information in the back, but just The Good and the Beautiful. I really truly believe in art, and making things beautiful is something that is just pleasing to the eye and pleasing to the soul, and allows for you to learn in a way that you really soak it in because it's beautiful and you're enjoying it. So I just love that. So excited. I like making our home beautiful and really set up for learning, and I just love that all of our curriculum can be that way as well. So really excited to play this game as a family. And a lot of history is family style, so they say you just start at level 1 no matter how old your kid is, and you can do it as a family, and they have like little add-on things for older kids, which is cool. So this is the main history book. It's in black and white, but the pictures are still really nice. And it goes through like all of history to keep it interesting, so you're not just focusing on one part of history, with an emphasis on U.S. history, but you're not just focusing on one part, so it doesn't get so boring, but it spends more time in certain areas in each level. So level 1 is going to spend more time in different areas than level 2 will, and so on. So really cool. So beautiful, you guys. So that's the main lesson book, but then my favorite part, apparently this isn't in every level. I think it's like in every other level they have the big book of history stories, but I read the reason they do that is because they want to keep things fresh and different, so not every level is the same. So I do like that. But guys, this is beautiful. It's in full color. By the way, I love how everything is like spiral bound. It just makes life easier. Like you can just fold it up like that. It takes up way less space. So I love that. Everything is just so pretty. I'm sure everyone says that as they go through The Good and the Beautiful stuff, but it's true. But not only is it pretty, it's beautiful stories that we can be reading, because history is stories. It's about real people and real events. And just a boring old dry textbook, never ever ever would I use that for my kids. We actually didn't even use a regular curriculum last semester for history because I couldn't find one that wasn't just a dry textbook. So we just listened to Story of the World DVDs, which I'll link those below if you're interested in those. We're on volume 3, I think. So we listened to those, and we just read about history, but I love. So I love this. So it's, you know, King Arthur, so fun. So I'm so excited about that. But then also the read alouds. A ton of read alouds, and it tells you which read aloud goes for which unit, which I love. So I think this was unit 1, the Golden Goblet, and it's a Newbery honor book. So just really good quality books. This is something that is too high level for my son to read on his own, but I can read to him just fine. Nora Ryan's Song. All of these books I read the back of, and they all looked super interesting. The Door in the Wall. This one looked really interesting. Just quality literature. I love it. The American Twins of the Revolution. So interesting. So that's how you should learn about history, through, you know, fiction and nonfiction books. Fiction can teach you so much as well. So I don't want to just stick to just nonfiction, but you know, you can learn from both. So love that. So that is our main history thing. I didn't go too crazy with history. I just depended on The Good and the Beautiful, but then also the Story of the World DVDs. We don't do the workbook or anything like that. Maybe one day we'll do the Story of the World workbook as like a supplement, but I really feel like this is enough for now and that we will really enjoy this. We are going to be studying space, which is very exciting. I wanted to I wanted to pick something for science that was just fun and would teach my son a love for learning. So I thought that space is a really fun thing to learn about. And also, at first I was thinking, space, you know, there's so many more things you can learn about in science, like electricity or physics or chemistry or biology. What's the point of learning about space? Well, it's to learn about the wonders of the universe, to learn about what God created and how miraculous it is. I mean, how important is that? You know, so anyway, we got The Good and the Beautiful. They have lots of different science curriculum, and I'm sure we will get some more of theirs, but I just started with this one. At first I was a little bit annoyed that it doesn't come spiral bound, because I would pay for that if they would offer that, but they don't offer that. But then I realized the reason it doesn't is because you use these things. Like you take out this beautiful, very nice, like the paper is so nice and like, I just love the way it feels. You can take out this beautiful picture and you can put it up somewhere, which we will hopefully be getting a chalkboard soon. So I will, you know, put it on the chalkboard. But yeah, so I understand now why they didn't. You also get the PDF. I think you have to pay extra for that. I got the PDF, so you can print off things so you don't have to use the nice paper if you don't want to. You can save it. But so fun. So we're going to be doing all our little experiments through this curriculum, learning about things. Not only, guys, oh, and I forgot to say that about the history. They have audiobooks that you can listen to for history as well. And I really want to get my son into audiobooks because I know he will enjoy that. So love that. Audiobooks are such a great resource for when you don't have time to sit down and read. Everyone has time to listen to an audiobook while they're driving in the car or while they're doing laundry or cleaning their room or whatever. So I love audiobooks. So anyway, for the science, they have videos that they suggest you go to. So they will tell you a website for a video to go to. So they just really give you so many resources. So you're not just sitting in front of a textbook being bored. They even give you, what is it called? These are your cards that you will put on like a little learning board. You cut these out and put them on a learning board. You're like vocabulary words, which is awesome. And a lot of these words are science words, like atmosphere, things that you will use in chemistry. So when I saw that, I was like, yes, this is a great foundation to start with as we get into those higher level sciences, to really give him an interest for it and understanding of it. So I'm really excited about that. But they also, somewhere in here, give you suggestions for field trips. And we are going to go on a ton of field trips this year. There is so much you can learn from hands-on experience. So I love The Good and the Beautiful. It just has their mentality for learning is mine, like my philosophy. They say they don't have just one philosophy, but they say they lean more towards Charlotte Mason. That's what I read in their English or history book. One of them said that. So I love that. I just love that. Okay, so that's our main curriculum. What came with it, or what you can buy this through them or separately, is Along Came Galileo. So this is our read aloud. We have a lot of books on Galileo, which I am really excited about. I think I'm gonna have a category of stuff to show you guys that is just books we're gonna be reading that kind of may go with our curriculum. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll get to those. But this looks really interesting, just learning about Galileo, and it has pictures in it, which is fun. So I'm really excited for this read aloud. Now I'm just gonna go in random order. So we're gonna try and do more projects as a family. That's why I may want to get the Story of the World workbook, because they have a lot of good history projects. But as I'm gonna start going through The Good and the Beautiful history curriculum, because they may have some projects for us in that. But projects are another great way to make learning fun. So we're gonna make this is our solar system modeling kit. So I'm really excited to make that and hang that up somewhere in our house. Then I just got this coloring book, but I thought I would show you guys because I think it was actually turned out really nice. I thought, oh, I could just print these pictures off when I was looking at it online on Amazon, but then I really like the paper that they used. Very nice paper, and it's all together. So when we just need to kind of chill and get some coloring therapy, we can turn to this. And he can color it accurately, like he can color the earth the way it's supposed to look and everything, the colors he's supposed to use. So this will just be something fun to do, but very nice quality. I was very surprised at the quality of this and very pleasantly surprised. Some games. So we got a lot of games. Let me start with this one. This is very popular on YouTube, the Professor Noggins, the card games. There is a card game for like every single subject imaginable by Professor Noggins, and I'm sure we will end up buying them in the near future. But this is the first one we have ever had. I love this. It reminds me a lot of those cards from The Good and the Beautiful for the history game. So just beautiful pictures of space. And then there's like little space questions, and it goes from easy to hard. So like the parent can do the hard one and the kid can do the easy one. So you can actually have like a fun kind of competition going. So oh, look how pretty that is. Just beautiful, beautiful cards, really nice quality. So as we learn about space, we will stop and play this game a few times, I'm sure. I'm hoping to have kind of like a game day, at least once a month, as like a reward system for Carter when he is not complaining and just really working hard and doing well in his schoolwork. Then we will have like an entire day where we just play games. Oops, looks like the dice fell out. Okay, so there's that. Then we also got the Night Sky card finder. I think this is like Go Fish. Yes, it's like Go Fish. More beautiful, guys. Beautiful, beautiful cards. So this is like your set of 4 for Go Fish. But what's cool is it has different information on it. So let's see if that will focus. So this is all about globular clusters. So there's different information on each card. So you can learn a little while also having these beautiful pictures. Carter and I love to play Go Fish. It's a game you can play with even very young children, so which I think is cool. Speaking though of games that you can play with young children, we got this game, the Constellations Memory Game. This you can play, it says, from ages 3 to 103, which I love. That's so true. So Henry's 1.5, so it won't be long before he can start playing this game as well. But it's just a beautiful memory game, and it has the constellations. I think that's how you say it. I'm gonna be learning about constellations along with Carter. I didn't really learn that much about it as a kid, so in school. So really excited about that. Super beautiful. Carter and I always love playing memory games, so that's gonna be a fun thing to play. Hey buddy, we got a little hand over here. Then I also got a puzzle. He really struggles with puzzles. We didn't do many puzzles as he was growing up. It's kind of a regret of mine. I mean, he's only 9, so he's got plenty of time to learn how to do puzzles. But with Henry, my youngest, I'm starting him very young with puzzles. No, Henry, leave that alone. But anyway, so a 100-piece puzzle will be very challenging for him, but it will help him learn about where the planets are located, and it will just be another fun thing to do to kind of like change things up. Okay, next let's get into the chapter books, and then I will get into the, hey, stop, Henry. We'll get into the chapter books, and then I will get into the children's books. So this series of books, this author, Claudia Mills, I am very excited. Carter has already been reading one book called 7 times 9 equals Trouble by Claudia Mills, and he has loved it. It's really on his level for reading, which is good. This one I love, How Oliver Olsen Changed the World. What a cool title. I love this. I'm just going to read it to you guys. No! Oliver Olsen's teacher is always saying that one person with a big idea could change the world. But so far, all Oliver has managed to change is the diorama of the solar system he's been working on with his chatterbox partner, Crystal. Anyway, how is Oliver supposed to change the world when his parents won't let him do anything on his own? Not even go to the space sleepover that's supposed to be the most exciting event of the 3rd grade. Just like Pluto, Oliver Olsen is being left out of everything. Guys, I cracked up at that last sentence, just like Pluto. I don't know why I find it so funny that Pluto got nixed as a planet. I just think it's the funniest thing ever. I love like nerdy little jokes like that. So, and I love how it talks about changing the world and just like what that means for you. So excited for him to read this book. We've been really getting into mysteries for him. The ABC Mysteries series is a really good one for kids in about 3rd or 4th grade reading level, maybe 2nd or 3rd to 4th reading level. And so he's been enjoying that. So I thought a Jigsaw Jones mystery would be cool. The Case from Outer Space. Just kind of a fun book to read that has to do with outer space. These are our read alouds for our science space unit. So When You Reach Me, this was compared to, what is it called? A Wrinkle in Time. A Wrinkle in Time, which would be a great read aloud for a space study unit. But we actually have already read that book. It is a series, so we may read the next ones during our space unit. I don't know how long this unit is going to last. We're really going to focus on space for a while. It's going to be fun. Anyway, so when they compared this to that, I was like, yes. Also, it talks about going to the future, and it's kind of got like a mystery in it. And I think like, you know, there's a possibility of like even a death. So that sounded a little bit like both of these happen to be a mystery about a murder possibly, which I didn't really realize at the time. So hopefully that doesn't scare him too much. But I also think it's good to kind of like expose him to tougher subjects like that, like tougher topics like that in like really, really good literature. So this one just looks like a really fun, cool story about like these notes that come to this girl through, and they're like predicting the future. Space Case. This is super cool because they're living on the moon. It talks about how lame it could be like living on the moon. So it's just like realistic, like the kids are like real kids. I don't like it when it's making fun of adults or whatever, kind of like the Diary of the Wimpy Kid or something. I don't like that kind of book. But when it's like real stuff that real kids think and feel, and just they're working through those emotions and thoughts, I think it's good for my son to learn through good literature how to work through those types of emotions and thoughts. But I think there's like a murder in space on the moon or something. I don't know. So I thought it was cool that they were on the moon. Then we got 3 of these Who Was books. Carter has not read these yet, but they looked really interesting and on his reading level, which I was happy about, with lots of pictures. So we got Who Was Neil Armstrong, obviously a great one. Who Was Albert Einstein? So this is the chapter book I was talking about. And Who Was Galileo? So fun. We have quite a few books on Galileo, which will be nice. Okay, so now for the picture book. But it's a really cute cover, got cute picture, the sky full of stars. It looks like a really cute picture book. Starry Messenger, this is about Galileo. So this one looks really interesting and really high quality, beautiful pictures. So excited about that. What Makes Day and Night, this looks like it's by the same people as that first book. But beautiful, beautiful pictures. So, and you know, Carter understands basically what makes day and night, but just having it in a book, I think will just be kind of a fun reminder. What's Out There, a book about space. Just more, you know, just another chapter book with great pictures talking about space. So excited to read that. We are just gonna every day just sit down together and read these books. I'm really excited about it. Faraway Worlds, Planets Beyond Our Solar System. I thought that would be really interesting. I mean, look at these pictures. Okay, One Giant Leap, the story of Neil Armstrong. I think this was suggested by The Good and the Beautiful. Astronaut Scott Kelly, My Journey to the Stars. What kid isn't interested in astronauts? And this has like real pictures of him. And through a chapter book, which I think, through a picture book, which I think is really cool. Then I'm super excited about this author, Gail Gibbons. She was on, I think it's called the Read Aloud podcast or something like that. Can't remember the girl's name at the moment. But But she was, the author, Gail Gibbons, was on that podcast. She was interviewed, and she does tons of nonfiction storybooks for kids. She does the art and the story herself. Okay, I think that's all of my science books. That was a lot, but I think that's it. Oh, this one. A Child's Introduction to the Night Sky. We do have a telescope. This has a star finder and some glow-in-the-dark stickers, which is cool to help us find the stars. I actually got this a while back on Amazon, and we just never read it. So I think this will be a good resource. Okay, now we are going to finally move on to the end of this haul video. It is already way too long, so I'm going to try to go through this quickly. This is just going to be art and randoms. So let me try to go quick for a second. So as for art, I got this beautiful workbook for watercolor painting and color theory. So this will be like our main curriculum for art, and it just teaches you how to make these beautiful watercolor pieces. I love the beginning. It talks about like color is life, has power and potential. Color expresses moods, feelings, ideas. Color informs our world, enriches the way we see it. So I love that philosophy of this book. So we're going to be using this, and we're going to be combining our watercoloring. This is kind of like a Waldorf thing, but I'm putting my own spin on it because I'm not a really great artist. So I won't be doing as much as you would, I think, in a regular Waldorf curriculum. But we are going to use watercoloring. So we got some stuff for watercoloring. I was gonna get some fancy stuff, but since we're just getting into it, I was like, we don't need to be that fancy. So I just got Crayola. So I got regular Crayola watercolor and some regular Crayola marker and watercolor pad. And what we're gonna be doing is we're going to be making watercolors from this book, but then we're also going to be making watercolors about space and about math and about history and English and all of that. And it will just be kind of a way to reinforce it. And like this book said about when it was talking about color, and we're just going to try to like use that little philosophy with all of our other subjects and all of our learning to make it more fun and enjoyable and enriching. And we are going to be going on field trips. So I also got this. This is going to be our field trip pad. So this is a drawing pad. So when we go on field trips, we are going to take this with us, and Carter is going to draw something like right here or wherever, and then he will write about it. He can either take notes while he's there or write about it when we get home, but he will draw something while we are there. And then I like how this is spiral bound and all together, so we can look back on all of our field trips that we went on together as a family in this, and just like kind of remember them and talk about them. So that is another way that I'm going to be just incorporating art into the rest of our subjects and our curriculum. So got that, got these paint brushes. They're just wooden, which I thought was pretty, so that's why I got them. Then I wanted to quickly show you guys some stuff I got from the dollar spot at Target, but first I wanted to mention these books. You will probably, well, I don't know if you noticed, but we don't have a lot of Bible stuff in our curriculum yet. I have a few things I'm still deciding on as far as what kid Bible we're going to use and devotionals and stuff like that. But I got this whole set off of masterbooks.com, where I got the Living Math program. And these are just super cool because they're just answers for kids, and real kids have asked questions. This one's about space, so we'll use this during our space unit. But real kids have asked a question like, what day were the planets created? And then it will quote a Bible verse and it will talk about it. So, and it actually shows the picture of each kid. So this one has to do with space, but there's one like that has to do with dinosaurs and animals. Let's see, where's the dinosaur one? Oh, well, my youngest grabbed this and threw things places, so I think that one's missing. But anyway, so these will just be a fun thing for my son to pick up, and they're really, this whole questions and answers thing will be good for me as well. This is my planner. I will talk about this more in a video, probably a future video, when I talk about planning for my homeschool year. Got this from Michael's. I think it's really pretty. It has this really nice spiral here, and you can do like add-ons like for lists and stuff. and each month has like a really pretty quote and picture. So really like this. This is going to be like my homeschooling planner slash YouTube as well. Okay, so really quickly, what we got from the dollar spot at Target. So we got these notebooks. These reminded me of the ones at the dollar store, but I thought these were nicer. This is on the Presidents of the United States, grades 2 through 4. So I don't mind if some of these are easier, because what I'm gonna do with these is when we're learning about presidents or whatever, I'm going to take pieces of paper out and put them in like a spiral or a folder, and they will just be kind of work that Carter can take out when I'm busy or when we're just doing a warm-up or whatever. So that's what I'll use these for. This one is on space in the solar system. It says it's just for 2nd and 3rd grade, but I really don't care. I think it'll just be fun, little extra activities for him to be able to do. So love that. Cursive practice. This is really cool. So we don't have a handwriting curriculum just yet. We may get one in the future for cursive, but right now we don't have one. But this is like, you can reuse it. You just like use markers and wipe it off, which I think is really cool. So I figure we could just start with this, just something super simple. It doesn't have to be a whole curriculum on cursive, you know, it's just cursive. Alphabet. So this is for Henry, pre-K to kindergarten. Obviously he's got a couple years, really probably only a year until we can kind of just start doing this for fun. So I thought, why not get it? Beginning sounds. This is something we are working on right now. So I thought that this would be a fun thing to look at. Even if he's just scribbling in this, he will look at the pictures. He loves to read. He points at pictures and says, you know, like if it's a ball, he'll be like, "Ma," and stuff. So anyway, I thought that was cool. Multiplication. Carter has already learned multiplication, but like I said, we're going over it again. This one is space themed, which I thought was perfect, so we could combine this with the other space thing. And just shows how subjects can go together. Science projects. I thought this was so fun. Just like if we're ever looking for a science project, just something different and fun to do, we could use this. So love those, so nice. Then for Henry, I also got these. He loves these little books. He already had one of these, so we got the rest of them. This one is animals. He literally sits, I mean, they're the little handle, something about the way kids can hold things. They can hold it well. They like them. But just has some really nice animal pictures, and we can work on the sounds and what the animals are. That's just the main thing we're working on right now. So one of the main things. Colors, you know, obviously we're always talking about different colors, so we can talk about colors and the animals in this. Alphabet. We sing the alphabet all the time. I think it's good to just be exposed to the letters. Then I got these flashcards. This one will be great when we get to presidents. Since, you know, the dollar spot stuff isn't always around, I thought I might as well just get this, even though we're not at presidents yet. We will get to that at some point in Carter's curriculum. And then this is some alphabet flashcards for Henry. We did not, oh no, I just ripped it. We did not have alphabet flashcards. We have color flashcards and shape flashcards, and these are really, really cute. So I was excited to find that. These little felt guys, these are from the dollar spot. Love it. Felt numbers, felt shapes and numbers, and felt letters. Textures and touch are a really big thing for toddlers, so I know he'll love those. Finally, I wanted to show you guys these two books. Flat Stanley, random, but I heard this collection, this series is really fun for kids to read, and I heard about this amazing project that we're gonna do that Carter's so excited about. So Flat Stanley, it basically says he was a regular boy until like a dresser fell on him and he turned flat. So now he goes in these like little envelopes and he mails himself places. So one of them is like space themed. So perfect, he can read this when we're learning about space and our space unit. He loves magic, Carter does, so I bet he'll love that one. And then these are just the original first and second ones. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get one of those giant pieces of paper and we're gonna trace Carter and then cut it out, and then we're gonna mail it to our friends that live around the world. Like my best friend lives in Arizona, so we'll mail it to her and she can take pictures of herself with it at different places in Arizona. My little sister's in college somewhere, so we can mail it to her. She can take pictures of herself there. So, and then it will be like Carter is in all those places, and we can learn about the locations of those places. We can go to the United States map and be like, where's Arizona on the map? And learn a little bit about it. So just a really like random thing, but so much learning and fun that will go with this series. So I'm really excited about that. And then finally we got, oh, is that finally? Yeah, that's just something we already have. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I have wanted to get these Harry Potter books, the picture books, because Carter kind of struggles, especially the first Harry Potter book, in my opinion, is really boring. I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd. Especially like the first half of it. So I thought that it would be easier for him to get through it with some fun pictures, as I want him to read Harry Potter. I want us to read it together as like something we did together. Harry Potter, I think, is one of the most amazing series ever. Oh, I didn't realize it even has that. That's really nice. So I got this for 20% off and I just love it. I want to have the whole collection, and we will probably read these over and over again. I'll read this to Henry someday. It's a nice hardcover, so very excited. Okay, I think that's it, you guys. I have more things that I need to get, but that's basically it for now. So thank you if you stuck until the end of this video. I know it was really, really long, but I really wanted to show you guys everything we got for this year. And so definitely let me know in the comments below if there's any video suggestions you have for me. I want to start posting a lot more. And anyway, I'm just going to end this now. Thanks for watching. Bye.